What is up, everyone? Welcome on into game number 2, round 2. We have Awkward Silence going up against Regiment GG. We already got the picks in here and everything going on. Based on these team comps, what are we thinking? So welcome in, though. My name's AgentPopo. Joining me is TIH Vengeance. Probably should have started there. But what do you think about these team comps right now, Vengeance?
Well, I mean, these team comps kind of look nice. You know, little new action is going to be interesting to see. Unfortunately, there's an Arachne in here, so you know, a little bit of auto attack, just nonstop click right on top of somebody. I do think it's interesting. We got a Gilgamesh Nox combination. I know a lot of people out there, you know, probably just kind of cringing at the Nox, but it's not that big of a deal because you know these builds kind of can sometimes negate what you got to do on your god.
Yeah, and what I'm looking at over on that team with the Nox and Gilgamesh is the Ares, the Daji, massive beads burners. You're gonna lose your beads if you have them from Daji. You're gonna lose your beads if you have them from Ares, and then you're just gonna have a really good combination of alts over on that side, and it's gonna look pretty dangerous. Considering Izanami doesn't have any CCM immune alt. I guess Nua will be lucky with one. Mulan, Xingqian will, of course, and so will Arachne. So at the very least, if they don't have their beads up or don't have beads at all, they'll be able to ult out.
Yeah, and that's honestly going to be the one nice thing is that they do have so many ways of getting out of these alts. Unfortunately, it's a couple. This is actually a heavy bees burn comp coming out from them that they got here, and even though Nua does have some, you know, CC in there, it takes a little bit of the kit to do that, or unless you're playing the passive a little bit heavy there, then you can have another form. But outside of that, the Xingqian's going to be your biggest form of CC, and I mean, if no one on the other team does get beads, that's a nice whirlwind of dealing range. I mean, I was just saying, a little spin washing action, and you could have a whole team right in front of a Nua.
Yeah, and that's definitely not a place you want to be, especially if the new one does have a bit of damage. It does. Hopefully for them, they aren't building a full defensive build over here, and they can actually pack a punch. But even with the Izanami, you gotta hope she gets a couple attack speed, maybe some pen items. If she's lucky, we'll be able to tear down towers pretty well. Very good. Got to be very lucky on that front.
Could you imagine an Izanami full defense, no attack speed, pen, just non-stop defense for just trying to stay alive?
Yeah, it's just gonna be sitting there doing nothing. I mean, but you won't be taking damage at least. I mean, you know, hopefully on that front, but you're not really gonna be outputting a whole lot of damage. But I mean, in the minds of the other team, what you're looking at here is sometimes you get that, oh, they're normally the target. They're normally a squishy, so I'm going to target them. Like we saw in the last match, they seem to be jumping on Cuckoo a lot, Cuckoo Khan, and he just had a bunch of defensive items. He was never dying. He was still doing a bit of damage, but it seemed like that, oh, he's a squishy normally. We should jump on him when he was more of a front line than, you know, the Atlas was.
Now, the one nice thing for Regiment GG here is, in the instance, let's say that Izanami does have to build a little bit more defense, they do have an Arachne. So if the Arachne's getting some offensive items here, you still have a good structure burner on your team, whereas Awkward Silence, you're going to be relying way more on this Charbdis to be the one to take those down. And just speaking of these builds, I mean, look at the start. I'm sorry. What? Awkward Silence? Huh?
But did you see this? You see the Arachne? Arachne, look at Arachne's start so far. Mannequin Scepter. I mean, that's a normal thing. But I mean, Charybdis right now has the arrow. It's just if that goes into Crusher, there's no way. If that Charybdis goes into Crusher, there's no way.
So let me get this straight. Ares got Sentinels with tier 1 physical defense. Okay, that's looks like I believe that is the soft tree. But then Daji and Gilgamesh both ended up with that same tier 1 item, and on top of that, the Daji has what normally you may see a solo laner go at some point.
Then we just got a big red fight going out here with Regiment starting out, getting that red buff. But it's just going to be a big fight as we have Gilgamesh jumping in, missing the drop kick, unfortunately. I did want to go back to their relic choices as I was talking about big beads burners. There's, I think I can count right, one beads on Regiment.
Yeah, one bead, one Aegis.
That's it.
2 belts.
That's not looking good. That is not looking good for them, considering the Ares and Daji. But we have an Arachne jumping in on the Ares. Ares hitting the chain. The big drop kick from Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh actually getting that kill right there, taking out the Arachne.
Yeah, and First Blood is going to go over to Corkerman as well, and just using their abilities in sync together, very well understanding these characters, how they work. So that's a couple of kills, very free for them. And what helps is that's a lot of physical defense, and the characters they killed do physical damage. So they didn't really have to worry too much about what damage they were taking right there. Already Corkerman level 5, and you know that's going to raise some concern for Regiment.
I'm all expecting too. Once this Daji hit level 5, that they are just, you know, I'd assume we'd start with the Daji, hope she gets some beads, and then have the Ares just jump right in. If they're paying attention to relics, only one person has, so we're just gonna see a lot of ults coming out of that. Potentially is what I'm expecting to see here.
And that will be exciting. Now, the one thing I can say is, it doesn't look like we have any blinks, so Regiment doesn't have to worry about that. They are able to keep their distance for some time. But it's going to be one of those deals where, are we going to see maybe a Ares ult into a Daji ult to pull people back into towers? Because you do have a Nox. I mean, if you know, like all the CC change you'll see on YouTube, like a Fenrir into a Sobek into the I'm kind of curious if that's what we're going to see, because that would be entertaining, and they are stacking together.
Yeah, it's that actually could be, even drop a Gilgamesh ult inside of that. There's no getting out. We have a big Mulan ult coming through mid, not doing a whole lot of damage, just getting silenced there by the Nox. And Mulan is in a very bad spot as Corkman taking out Mulan there. Right in that red pit. She kind of just dashed in there all by herself, and that's gonna be the 3rd kill for Awkward Silence.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate use of the ult.
Daji ult coming up in and pulling. Oh, here, do we see Ares ult coming?
Oh, only brings back one though. Steve gets that one, but in return, the whirlwind of rage and steel.
Then we have an Ares ult gonna pull them in. Arachne ult out. Beads coming in from the Nuwa, and then a big Charybdis a damage right there. It's Ares is gonna pick up the kill on the Xing Qin. Charybdis taking out the Mind Killer TTV over on the Arachne, and it's, you know, 6 kills right now. There's a pretty big brawl out there. It's just the CC is just going to be too much. That Ares is hitting a lot of chains, doing a bit of damage. Right now, the Regiment needs to sit back, farm. I mean, find as much farm as you can, I guess, in a slash match, and hang out until your ults are back up.
Yeah, and one thing I'm going to go ahead and point out here, Awkward Silence has been playing as a team this whole time. Just the stat lines. The only one on the team that's not 1-0-4 is Cork, who's 2-0-3. So they've all been involved in the same amount of kills, even though there's 6.
Yeah, they've been bunched pretty well. They are ready for when team fights start. Like we saw there before when Mulan died, she kind of just dashed in with her ult by herself. With no follow up on her team, wasn't going to be putting out enough damage that early, of course, to do anything. But we have Gilgamesh jumping in here, wants to go in on the Nuwa, misses the drop kick, but a big stun coming in from Nuwa, and Mulan missing the pull right there. Charybdis just gonna have to get out there. And it's a little quiet over here, but then we have a Nami ult on a miss. Daji ult coming in, going to pull the Nuwa, who doesn't have beads. Arachne doesn't have the ult. They're both pulled in there. Corkman taking out Big for no reason, and they're gonna chase down this Arachne. Can she get away? She's pretty fast. It's not looking likely for them to get out, but Xing Qin getting caught out, gonna have to ult. No real follow up for him, and he is caught all by himself as Deve's going to take out Ice Guardian, and it's a 8-0, and it's just a quick snowball here for Awkward Silence.
They did get a very CC heavy comp here, and that's honestly one of the hardest things to deal with when you aren't allowed to just have beads of your choosing. Aegis pulled early there, the silence comes through, Salty Boy falls, a chain did hit his teammate, so there's no getting away. Fersen gets the kill. We're up 10-0 already. No towers have gone down, but the Siege Juggernaut, it's a lot of damage done already.
That's pretty low, and I think Nox is trying to solo, but the rest of the team showing up to that. Awkward Silence just gonna secure that Siege Juggernaut as Xing Qin is caught out. Arachne caught out. Arachne ended up taking down the Charybdis. I'm kind of surprised, but and ends up making it out of there. Mannequin Scepter into Trans, which honestly not a bad start. We got Arrow. Like, what is this Charybdis? This is randomized. What is this build? This is a decently normal build so far.
Yeah, I really hope that's not Jotum's coming up next. If that's Brawlers, okay, sure. But if that's Jotum's, we may have a problem here because that means cooldown, attack speed, full pen, Charybdis with the Gilded Arrow. That's
Just what we want.
not okay.
With Daji ult up, and they're just going to keep speaking on the CC as they do have massive amount of CC here. Unfortunately, Corkman, or not, unfortunately for Salty Boy, but Corkman is going to finish it off on Izanami.
Oh, that's so unfortunate that Cork's the one who gets that because Aram would have gotten the reset. Doesn't. Instead, they're going to bring Idio back, and Duke's going to be the one to take him down. The Siege Juggernaut was taken out quickly by Regiment, so, you know, their tower's not as big of a threat, but there's still 5 members here, so they do have to defend this tower as best they can, and these guys, they just can't get close. The CC and then the silence that they're able to bring out, this is just... This is hard.
It's a disaster. It is the CC that we talked about even before the match. But I would like to point out, we got an Ares ult coming out on Arachne, who doesn't really have any way of getting out of that. Daji a little low, but just gonna hang around there. As Ares gonna hit all the chains. Ares, the Fearzin on taking out the Mind Killer TTV, but this Ares Fearzin has been hitting every chain. I feel like we keep watching every single chain.
You know, we're here talking about the Charybdis build. I'm just gonna point out that Fearzin was given Emperor's armor, and then Cork, who's got dot damage, was allowed Mystical Mail, and Duke's got Mystical Mail.
Now, unfortunately, the Xing Qing gets caught out, but easy way to get out. And I did point out earlier, I said, oh, it'd be get really lucky if this Izanami got some pen. And, you know, I mean, a little defense, not bad, but so far, Death's Toll right into a Silver Branch. You know, a little bit of pen early, not super needed, but it's there. But Daji gonna pull in. Speaking of Izanami getting pulled in from the Daji ult, Duke of Thickness gonna get that kill there, and Deve taking out Ice Guardian as well with a big ult coming in from Nox. This awkward silence team is just, I think, regardless of build, it's just their kits are so hard to deal with. There's nothing more cringe than a Nox. You know, I think we all can agree with that, right?
That's a Nox with Gem of Isolation, by the way, which, in case any of you don't know, because it's been a while since we've seen Gem of ISO be used a lot, Gem of ISO slows using your abilities. So if you get caught in a Nox silence, you're slow. You get caught in the root, you're slow. She dashes you, you're slow. She ults you with tick damage, you're slow. On top of the comp that they have, that is a nightmare.
Yeah, it's an absolute nightmare. We got a bit of a level lead over on the awkward silence side. They were able to get the T1 over on right, and it just kind of come in time. But Regiment needs a little bit of pullback here, as you can see right now, gold lead is 6.5K going out to awkward silence, and about a little over 5,000 for the experience side as well. So Regiment really kind of needs to get something going. Maybe just stick around and hope that these builds go in their way, but I think for the most part, what they're dealing with, and they're just the CC that awkward silence has, and lucky for this Ares, which I think is a good pickup after Emperor's armor. Spear of the Magus, honestly, that is gonna hurt.
Oh, that is Yotsum's on the Charybdis. Oh, that's lovely.
Oh, what is this
build? On attack speed Charybdis. That's great.
And then the Nox got...
This couldn't get any worse. Thank you. One thing I do want to point out is Big for no reason was given double anti-heal.
Wow. Oh, no. Daji hitting an ult, but Nuwa going to be able to ult out of that. Oh, luckily for that Nuwa, she did end up having that ult there. But Tahuti picked up by Nox. These builds are just a build diff, and I don't know, a whole team comp right now for awkward silences. Xing Qing get a really big ult here, but just not enough damage follow up. His Ares just going to turn around, ult them right back, pulling 2. Nox ult out, Charybdis ult out. Deve taking out Mulan, and we have a lot of kills coming in here. As they're just gonna get a 3-man wipe, maybe? Are we gonna see a deicide for awkward silence as Deve's gonna take out Nuwa? And the only one standing is Xing Qin, who was able to make it back, but 10 minutes in, we have Apophis coming out, and awkward silence has no signs of slowing down.
Honestly, no, I don't see it anytime soon that they're going to slow down. We do have Fearzin getting Spear of the Magus, the perfect pen item for his abilities, because it's tick damage, and also the chains Just you get 3 of them if you hit them, and yeah, that's great.
ferocity.
That's what you need. You're an Ares to increase damage from his teammates right now. Is that Gilgamesh Blackthorn Hammer?
Yep, Gilgamesh Blackthorn,
Dude,
Amulet of the Stronghold, which is a really good item. Did awkward. How much did they pay Loki to like stack their team and their build? I mean, we'll never know, I guess. We're gonna have a Gilgamesh jump in here. We just got two juggernauts fighting it out in left lane as both T1s are gone for Regiment GG. And we're just gonna have that. They're actually awkward silences. Juggernaut's gonna continue to push through, and Ares misses a chain for the first time. I think it's because we were watching him, but he has been on point with everything. And yes, Magus is a beautiful pickup. So we have a big Gilgamesh ult coming in. Gilga jumping in, Dodgy ulting as well. I think we got pulled 3, but we have an Arachne ult come through. Deep taken out, Salty Boy, and Ares hitting that chain there on Arachne as Arachne's gonna try and get away. Kribis going in for the ult. Can she find anything? Misses the new one. The Kribis ult's a little hard to hit, but they want more. Gilgamesh jumping in, gonna have to pay for it. Big for no reason, taking out Gilgamesh. Fearsden, though, ended up getting Mulan there. As Daji's just gonna keep on going past that T2 with awkward silence, taking out the T2. Ares hitting a few more chains in the Arachne. Arachne does it. Oh, Arachne actually makes it out of that. Big for no reason, taking out Fearsden. They're getting a few kills here because looks like awkward silence is a little greedy, but I think they're allowed to be a little greedy, to be honest.
Yeah, they've got the Emperor's Guard, so it slows down tower damage, so you can be in the tower a lot longer. And they were just taking shot after shot on top of fighting constant abilities. So
ooh, big stun over here on Dodgy. A Salty Boy gonna take out Corkman. This is a nice pushback here. Regiment actually getting a few kills, and they're gonna have some pretty long death timers over on awkward silences. They're just gonna try and take out this left T1. That's a big win. That's a big win for them right there.
Absolutely is, and this is one of the nice things about the items they are getting. They are getting some tankier setup for their team. Mulan does have the Frostbound Hammer, which gives you some health. She's going to pick up some protections after that. The Shang Ti in here, Mystical Mail with the Jade. I believe that's Jade's Crown.
Jade Emperors, yes.
And some life steal as well, which he's going to be able to give to his team. And then the one thing I was worried about was Salty Boy. He's got some branch bow.
Mulan just all by herself, getting taken out by the Charybdis. She's been a little too alone. I think right now, it seemed like they had a really good push in left because they were just fully grouped. And we got Ferocity pickup on Charybdis. Titan's Bane. What am I looking at with this? What is this? A massively OP build I'm seeing here.
Yeah, this looks like have your abilities up all the time with attack speed and all the pen. And also, because he's got Titan's Bane, that's going to eat through Ice Guardian and Salty's defense entirely, including Idios who just finished theirs.
Oh, Xingqian getting pulled in.
Oh, this.
Oh no. Oh no. This might be it. I could see awkward silence finishing on this with this push. New ult not doing nearly enough damage there. Her build doesn't really call for it, unfortunately. Mulan gonna have to ult out. Nuwa gonna have to use beads as well, and Gilgamesh just throwing the ult to throw the ult there. Maybe misclick, maybe a little bit of peel, but they do retreat off that. But I'm looking at these builds and awkward silence is
why? Okay, why of all like the Ares, the Gilgamesh, and the Daji get this good tank setup, and then look at the Nox. Why?
Yeah, why
was that necessary with what the Charybdis has? And then we're looking at Regiment, and it is tank with attack speed, anti-heal with health. The Arachne's got trans with Aussie, and it looks like it's going to be Frostbound Hammer after that. And then you've got a Mulan who is lifesteal, health, and some tank.
Well, Runeforge is also in that Frostbound tree now, actually, what it would look like. But there's the Runeforge, which actually, this Arachne build, I mean, if she could get, she's getting there. She's getting somewhere a little bit of defense, but the Arachne build's actually not too bad. This is a doable build, but Awkward Silence just had such a massive lead that they're just playing a little bit of like comeback.
Well, yeah, you're right. The build can be good. The problem is the lack of pen. And with how much defense is on the side of Awkward Silence, it's not going to help too much. And This is exactly why, especially when a Nox has a silence.
Yeah, it's gonna be really hard for the Arachne to fight the Nox. I mean, you kind of have to get in her face, and unfortunately, the Nox has damage items, and she's gonna be doing a bunch of damage. And there's really not anyone for the Arachne to really pick off here. As Corkman's gonna take out Ice Guardian, who's caught off a little too high up without the team. Sorry, Awkward Silence is just gonna push down on this right Phoenix in a good 5v4 matchup. We're going to step up here. We got the Dodgy ult coming in, and the big pull, silence, all of these ults. Charybdis ult coming in off the Dodgy ult. Ares ult coming in on the Dodgy ult. One after another, they are falling. It is not looking good here.
No, they're taking 4 members down. It's only big for no reason. And the Titan with 2 siege juggernauts in the Titan room as well. This game's as good as done. The damage is there, and unfortunately for Regiment, GG, not able to hold on for any longer.
No, it was what we started talking off with, was the CC, you know, the amount of CC over on Awkward Silence side, and unfortunately for them on a Regiment, one thing of beads. And I mean, yes, you have your ults, except for Izanami, who can't ult out of those things. It was just CC chain after CC, Dodgy into an Ares ult. You had the Nox silent on the Dodgy ult. Charybdis set up was very well with both of those ult. Gilgamesh those the ult down. Unfortunately, it was just a big team comp build difference, because I don't know, this Charybdis, I couldn't have gotten. I mean, honestly, this Charybdis couldn't have gotten a better build.
On top of Nox.
Nox as well, yeah.
Nox was short and like an Obsidian Shard. That's it. Everything else was great for those two on these builds. Honestly, Ares got a really good build as well. I mean, there's not much else you can ask for. And just, I mean, early on, they were doing great team play. You know, it wasn't, you know, CC chain that was the exact big difference at the time. But later on, I mean, when you can just have these abilities up constantly, yeah, at some point, the comps do end up making a difference. And unfortunately, this is one where that comes into play.
Yeah, it is just one of those things. And I mean, not even talking about that, it was this Charybdis ult this whole time, and Izanami got lucky with her Death Toll into Silver Branch, but nothing more, unfortunately, was able to come with that. Arachne probably had their best like chance at a build over there, but on their side, the Ares, I mean, Magus, Spectral, Spirit Robe, you know, Emperor's Armor to top everything off right there. It's just the builds. The builds were just in one way, not the other.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the tournament. Everything's random. You never know what you're gonna get. And this is one of those cases of RNG.
Yep, it's just for fun. We're having a good time here. Congratulations out to Awkward Silence for closing out. Well, game 2 out in round 2, moving their way on to the semifinals.